Hello and welcome. This is Out Motorsports. My name is Tyler and we are driving the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. This car is super interesting because it is a new segment of vehicle with the new Ford Maverick coming out, but they're also very, very capable. This car has a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine. It makes 280 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque, and it can tow 5,500 pounds. It comes with all-wheel drive. There are a lot of really cool things on this car that make it a great value for money. So we're about to go see how all of those things do. All right, so setting off in the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz, this car is a very interesting one in a lot of ways. This is number one, 4 doors, so it acts as though it's like a quad cab truck, but it can tow 5,500 pounds. A decent amount of weight, at least enough to take my race car, my 128 or my E36, to and from the track in comfort. And one of the big stories on this car, or one of the things at least worth noting with this car, is the driving dynamics, and that's thanks to Albert Biermann, who is BMW's previous chassis engineer. Albert Biermann has a hand in everything that Hyundai and Genesis and Kia make these days. Through this twistier, tighter road, it's bumpy here, and the shocks and the dampers are doing a really good job at not even skipping over bumps. I'm taking this thing mid-corner through like actual bumps that would upset almost any other car here, and the tires and suspension are compliant and composed, and the amount of feedback that comes through the chassis is just enough to let you know what's going on, but not too much to be intrusive or annoying on a daily commute or to live with this car on a daily basis. I think they've done a really, really good job here on something that they probably didn't even need to do this good on. So this is the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine that's also found in some other Hyundai and Genesis products. I tested this engine in the Sonata N line, and this was also in the Genesis G80 sedan that I had. The powertrain in this car is essentially identical to that of the N line, and it's mated to an 8-speed double clutch transmission. And honestly, it's just as impressive in this as it is in everything else that I've driven it in. The transmission is very smooth. It's not tuned as aggressively in this as it is in the N line. In the N line, this transmission fires off shifts, and when you have it floored, it actually kind of gives you an artificial kick the harder you are in the N line. And in this case, it's tuned for a passenger car. It's much smoother shifts at full throttle. And something else that they've done to help with the 5,500 pound tow rating that this car has is improve cooling and improve the clutches on this so you can actually tow with it and use it the way that they want you to. So obviously this car, as I mentioned, has a lot of hardware and a lot of features under the skin. However, something that I've touched on before that Hyundai does really well is make cars easy to live with on a daily basis. And the Santa Cruz is really no exception. The interior of this car is very simple, however, it's very solid. There are very few real hard touch plastics. Most things here are soft touch. They've integrated cloth in places that are very interesting along the top of the dashboard. I will say, just being in it for the short amount of time that I'm in it right now, my least favorite thing that we'll touch on a little bit later when we have it for a week as a loaner is the infotainment. Hyundai and Genesis, I've loved their infotainment for a long time. They have great technology, they have great driver assistance features. However, this infotainment took away the buttons and knobs for like capacitive touch. And this is only something that comes on the top of the line models. It's actually really not that bad at all in the short amount of time that we're in it right now. Even more notable, it's actually raining and it's picked up my hand, like my fingers that have been wet from touching the door handle and stuff that I feel like old school capacitive touch wouldn't really pick up. However, it is still a solid piece of technology even in the physical center stack. You can sit here and press on it and pry on it, and there are certain German companies that the center consoles are a little bit creaky, and that's not even the case here. All of this is refreshing, it's interesting, it's new, and it's of quality. And if there are still people out there who are a little bit skeptical of the Hyundai, Kia, Genesis quality just due to their reputation in the past, you have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty to take care of that. So it really is a great value proposition as far as somebody who needs to have a daily driven vehicle that's still economical and comfortable, but they don't need a truck, but they need something with some light truck capabilities. This is it. Doesn't drive like a truck, drives more like a car or an SUV or a crossover, but its numbers are truck-like, and it does truck-like things with the bed. It's incredibly quirky, and I'm super excited for us to be able to get a week with this and test it a little bit further. However, initial first impressions really are, I had high expectations, and my expectations are actually met. So we'll see how this does a little bit later in the year, but in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, we will see you next time.